All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Freezin NFC North Podcast, episode 127, Bears Dynasty Building with big offensive line trades, Viking voids, Lions ready to pounce, and Packers, are they primed for free agency? Lots to come on this episode. I am going to obviously welcome back RevTrev. It's been a minute, and where can I find you as we get started?
Thanks for having me on. You can follow me anywhere, RevTrevNFL. I love making Packers content as well as NFL content. So I'd love to have, I love having conversations about the pack because the G stands for greatness, baby. That's what happens. It's just a fact.
Lots of great stuff. All kidding aside, definitely like and subscribe. Lot of great shorts, all good content from you, Trev, and always great to have you here. And a first-time Packer fan as well on the podcast. Lots to add here. Gil, thanks for joining us, and where can we find you?
You can find me at Cheesehead TV and the Packers Post. We have a YouTube channel, the Daily Packers Post, and also on Packers Talk Network once a week.
Lots of great stuff. Definitely like and subscribe. Even if you're not a Packer fan, you can, keep the eyes on the pulse of what is happening in. I don't want to say it's Titletown anymore, but you call it Titletown. That's okay. We'll see what's happening in Titletown. And we also, like to peer in on non-Titletown, which is Minnesota Vikings. And I'm glad for you to come in again. Well. Always fun to poke fun at you, sir, but always great stuff, and glad you're here again. Where can we find you, sir?
You can hit me up on X, Blue Sky, Facebook. It's at Skullman Sports. Yeah.
You know what? Like I always say on Twitter, like it's so easy to get Packer fans going, but it's a little bit harder to get Vikings fans going. Usually it's kind of like, okay, whatever, So I'm going to get you going. I'm going to try to see if I can get you worked up there, Dre.
All right.
Someone who needs no introduction usually, and always gets worked up about his team in a good way. Seventh letter. Where can I find you, sir?
So my hat, I got a hat from Los Angeles. They were selling Lion stuff in Los Angeles. Seventh letter 4 on Instagram. No. That's for the X. Same OG on Instagram and Facebook. On top of the NFC North, not much has changed. Hopefully we'll continue on with that this season. Good to see you guys. Let's have fun. I got some shit to talk. So
we'll get there. You can find me on NFL Outdated on Twitter X. You can find me also on YouTube NFL Outdated, and on Freezin 4 Pod on the TikTok, and it is alive and well. And I need to put a little bit more content on there. We'll get there. Obviously, lots to talk about this offseason. Let's just start right away. I mean, I'm sure you guys are all quaking in your boots on these latest moves from the Chicago Bears. Dynasty building, a couple of major trades. I'm going to start with the first one, obviously, that happened. Bears trade for guard Jonah Jackson from the Rams in exchange for a 2025 6th-round pick. Obviously, everyone's going to, say pump the brakes a little bit. He had injuries with the Rams. They caught bait early with him. But, he had 4 good years with Ben Johnson with the Lions. Seventh letter. I mean, are you excited for my Bears?
1 good year with the Lions under Ben Johnson. Okay,
I'll
He's
take
good.
that.
Good. He can.
Okay.
I think when in his rookie year he started as a center, so you can kind of play him in the inside any position. So he's good. He's from Jersey. He a Jersey guy. He went to Rutgers and then he transferred to Ohio State. He's a good guard, you know what I'm saying? And he started like the middle of his rookie season. He's a good guard. He's a more of like a zone running type of guy. He's not a power guard, but he's a good guard. Like I just don't think that the Rams scheme really fit him because they're more of a power run team, and that's not what Jonah Jackson is. But if y'all play, Ben Johnson is really good to playing to people's strengths. You know what I'm saying? It's just Jonah Jackson. I think at the end of the playoff game against the Rams, he got hurt. And then he got hurt again last year with the Rams. So,
I think they tried to move him around a little bit too much. Now I think with the Bears, we'll be able to play exclusively guard. We'll see how that shakes out. But what about you, Gil? Are you I don't know, worried about this move for the Bears?
I'm not worried. I think it's a good move for the Bears. I mean, it's low risk, high reward. You're giving up a 6th-round pick for a guy who made the Pro Bowl. If he can stay healthy, he'll probably be able to contribute. But as a Packer fan, am I shaking in my boots? No.
I get that. Trevor, what about you?
Well, I've been saying for 2 years that you guys need to get O-line. And that's where, you've heard me say, I don't think you should have got Adunez because you needed that O-lineman. But I think you should have told your fan base that's what you were doing and you were going to suck again last year because but this year I'm saying like this is the smart move. I'm impressed that they're making moves. They're gathering players to make a difference. And for the first time I'm like, okay, Bears are starting to gear up. They're starting to look better. They're going to be able to compete more now. And, I mean, you got to get your win total up for sure, but that's a good step in the right direction, in my opinion. As much as I don't like watching your team, I actually hope you go 0-16, 17, actually. That would be the best case scenario for me. But I think for your fan base, they should be happy with these additions.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at some of the, obviously we got money in free agency. You never know how that's going to shake out. And some of these guards are going to be going for $18-19 million, which is, a lot of money. So I like the Bears being aggressive here and going and getting these linemen, especially, ones that have proven in the past they've done well. And obviously have a history with Ben Johnson. I think that's helpful as well. What about you, Dre? What were you thinking as you kind of saw this first move by the Bears?
I think I'm kind of similar to others. That it's just it's a good, like I said, low risk, potentially high reward. At the end of the day, it comes to like meshing with the rest of the offensive line because you can pick up statistically a good offensive lineman and does not mesh well at all. So I think that's where it comes down to. Honestly, I don't know as much about him. Like, obviously, it's arguably a good pickup. We'll see what happens. I'm not totally against it. It's not somebody who was honestly on my radar too much. So I can't say too much about it. But if anything, it makes the division more competitive. So we'll see what happens.
Well, this is a good Joseph has a great comment here. Jonah is a road grader, pass pro, not so much. Is that kind of what you saw when he was with you, seventh letter?
No, he's not a road grader at all.
Oh, right. I mean,
he's not a road. He's a zone guard. He plays good. He uses leverage. He's not very strong. He's not like a no.
Well, Joseph then asked,
we took a step back with Glasgow. You know what I'm saying? And Glasgow's another guy. Kind of, he's better than Glasgow. Put it like that. But no, he's not a road grader. No, I wouldn't call him that. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't call him that at all. He was next to Frank Ragnow. You know what I'm saying? And between Taylor Decker, who are road graders. You know what I'm saying? So it might have made him look a little better. But,
well, speaking of someone who may be a road grader, obviously the Bears also traded for guard Joe Thuney. He's a little bit older, right? But we got a 2026 4th-round pick. Obviously, it looks like the Bears are kind of all in on what they need right now. Matt Bowen, I love Matt Bowen. He's on the 6-7 score. He said, actually, this was on Jonah Jackson. He did say he was an interior mauler. And I think he plays with an edge, and I think Joe Thuney is going to be a good pickup as far as being person who has won Super Bowl, right, and possibly a captain right away on the offense. So, what are your thoughts, Gil, on Joe Thuney to the Bears?
Again, I think it's for a 4th-round pick. It's a good pickup. This guy has a winning pedigree. He's been around the league. The only concern is, the age thing. He's 32 going on 33. You're giving up a draft pick in the future. How long do you have him for? But probably get a good year or two out of him.
And that's, obviously with the Bears, how many, so he was, had the highest pass blocking grade since 2021, over 90, let's say 90.2. He's only allowed 7 sacks in the last 5 seasons. Obviously we know the Bears have allowed more than that. I think maybe even one game, maybe we allowed more than that. So, which is crazy. He only had 1 penalty.
Big issue. You know what I'm saying? He's 32. Kevin Zeitler was 34. He was pretty good. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I like. Obviously, and Kevin Zeitler had a heck of a season, right? Under Ben Johnson, right? And so I think it's a low risk pickup there. So when you think about him, obviously it's both of them, even if they play half the games, they are already they're already an upgrade from what the Bears had last season. So this is
absolutely. Absolutely. Your offensive line is immediately better. Like you just need a left tackle.
Very much,
in the draft, you good.
So I love it that you guys are, agreeing with me that the Bears dynasty is being built. I appreciate that.
That's not what I said.
That's not what I said.
Did you say diarrhea?
I don't think any of us said that.
The Bears always make a lot of headlines in the offseason, always declare that they're back, and they have to prove it on the field still.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why this time of year, I love it. Especially I'm excited this time of year. Hey, I ended last year just as I wanted to with a win over the Packers, which I'm excited about. Now we can talk about the Packers. Obviously, it's kind of an interesting situation. Davante Adams was cut. Trevor, I'm going to give you a thought on this. Obviously, there's maybe some steam Davante Adams to the Packers. Is that a bad beat to say, okay, well, let's take him back, or what are your thoughts on Davante Adams maybe coming back to the Packers?
Yeah, so I just made a video about which wide receiver would be helpful for the Packers. I talked about T. Higgins. I talked about Deebo Samuel. I talked about Davante Adams. And then I made another one about Metcalf, right? And so I've been kind of looking at all 4 of those guys. Obviously, Deebo's gone. But I didn't like the idea of trading for one of these guys because you're getting at players or draft capital. But now that Davante Adams has been released, I've got a lot more excitement personally about a reunion. Plus, I have a Davante Adams jersey that I would really like to still have value. But he is a special player. I would like to see him back. Obviously, it depends on price, but we need a veteran presence. That would not be a bad fit, in my opinion. He's older. I think he's 32. So that is a bit of a challenge there, but I still think he has a number of good years in him. And I personally welcome him back with open arms, especially now that we don't have to trade for him. That's really good news for me. If people want to bring Davante home, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just thinking for the Metcalf piece, it's going to be expensive in regards to what we have to give up and how much he wants a year. That might be a little bit more challenging, but I also love Metcalf as well. So,
I
love myself some Davante Adams back. That would be a beautiful story, in my opinion. So, I don't know, Gil, are you thinking the same way?
I am. I think a lot of reasons to want Davante back now that he's a free agent. Look, for Metcalf, they want a first-round pick and one of the young receivers, whether it's Romeo Doubs or Dontavian Wicks. That's a lot to give up, and then you got to pay the guy top market, dollar to sign him beyond one season because you're not going to make that deal for just 2025. Davante Adams, he's 32, but he never really was a burner. He never relied on his speed to get open. He was more of a guy who did a great job of disguising what he was doing off the snap of the ball, where he could run 3 routes and his first 2 steps looked identical. And it was hard for cornerbacks who were covering him to figure out what he was doing until he already had that step on them. I don't think he'll decline as rapidly because he wasn't reliant on pure speed to get open. And here's a guy who really has done so much in Green Bay. His career is starting to wind down. he would have a chance to be competitive and get to a Super Bowl if he signs with the Packers. He's got a good quarterback in Jordan Love. And I just think it would be a really good fit. Wouldn't break the bank for the Packers, even though it wouldn't be cheap. But, cheaper than DK Metcalf or some of the other alternatives out there. He knows the coach. He knows the system. I would love to see him back in Green Bay.
Speaking of those alternatives, I mean, it's crazy when you look at this list, right, of names. There's name power on this list. Obviously, we talked about DK. We talked about Devontae Adams is on there. But, I mean, there's some big names on here. Obviously, Devontae Adams has the history.
He got released or something?
No, I think there's rumors of it at this point.
Rumors. So, so he'd be available.
Didn't Hopkins retire too?
I don't think Hopkins did he officially retire?
I thought he did, but I could be wrong.
Oh, I doubt it is. So even Cooper Kupp might be on there. So there's a lot of options here. I don't know. Do the Packers, have they had a history of bringing players back to play? I mean, usually they get rid of them and they're kind of done with them. I mean, is that kind of what you recall, Gil?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, there have been a couple of exceptions. I'm trying to think of a specific one off the top of my head. Well, James Jones came back. Jones came back for a year in, 2015 or 16?
He was good, too.
And he was good. He scored a lot of touchdowns that year. So it's not unprecedented. That was a different general manager back then. But I still think, the other thing is this, the way Devontae left, I think it left a bad taste in his mouth, the Packers organization's mouth. He could come back and sort of patch that up and secure his legacy. And, he's not that far off from most catches in a career for a Packer receiver, most touchdowns. He's fourth in yards. He could really, take his legacy in Green Bay to another level if he came back.
Wow. Yeah. Those are great points there. And I mean, so it's so interesting kind of the trajectory of his career. Obviously he, left to go, play with his quarterback with the Raiders. And then he got traded to play with his original quarterback. And so, one of the reasons I'm guessing that he obviously left Green Bay in the first place is I don't know how much he really believed in Jordan Love. And if you're a fan of the podcast, my thoughts on Jordan mid-Love. But, when you talk about, coming back to the Packers, obviously a lot of Packer fans want to say he's good. I mean, but he still has a lot to prove to be kind of a solid, quarterback in the NFL that's consistent. And, I don't know if Devontae Adams is patient enough for that.
No, I know DK Metcalf get over there in Green Bay. That might be a little crazy. I ain't gonna lie. It's just the way Jordan Love plays, and DK Metcalf can get up under those deep throws. So
that's okay. Yeah, I will admit that Jordan Love has that talent where he can just he can make those throws. And skill set wise, does that kind of fit what Adams does well? Obviously the route running and all that. Does that fit what he does well?
No, I don't think so. I think DK Metcalf go to the Packers. That might be a little different. That might be scary a little bit because it plays into the offense that LaFleur runs. And if they get DK Metcalf, it's just he's fast and big and aggressive and he's nasty. And I think that's the thing that the Packers are missing. They don't got like a nastiness to them. They're very finesse. They play like an indoor team. You know what I mean? And if you got somebody like that that's nasty, I don't like you. And that's why I was afraid if Debo went there because that's what the Packers are missing, that toughness. And DK another tough one. So, I would DK Metcalf. I know that they don't want to spend no money, but that'll change the offense a lot. Him and Jacobs, Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, that's why I feel like Josh Jacobs brought that on from the running back standpoint, and that's it kind of carried the team a lot this year. That would scare me. Tell you one thing that doesn't scare me, Dre, maybe you're along this line as well. If Stephon Diggs went to the Packers, it's not bothering me at all.
I don't think that's gonna happen. I think he's, especially at his age, coming off of the injury, like he's taking a 1-year deal. I think at best. If he does good, I mean, good. I liked him. Don't get me wrong. Nothing against him in Minnesota, but like some team, like I don't think that's what the Packers want. At least that's not the best option. That's if maybe if DK and Adams are already signed somewhere else, maybe that. But arguably, based on that list, I would say Amari Cooper is probably more, just because the fact that Cooper has kind of just gone under the radar. And I think the only reason why it didn't work out in Buffalo is because obviously they signed him maybe a third of the way through the season. He never picked up it just didn't work out. But the skill was there. And I think he's more primed to do better than Diggs is just because of the injury and the age. But that's just me. I definitely don't want Metcalf coming. That is for 100% sure, based on everything that was already said by Seventh Letter. I think Metcalf could be dangerous, honestly, with a decent enough quarterback. Yeah, obviously Geno has done enough in Seattle, but he's not a franchise quarterback. He's never been that since maybe West Virginia, and all power to him, obviously, for doing as good as he did
against
the past few years. But
he's freaking Joe Montana against us.
So yeah, if DK comes with he could his size and speed, it's kind of similar to obviously Calvin Johnson in a way, just how big and monster he has the potential to do it if he has. I'm just saying potential. I'm not saying he's that yet at all. I'm just saying potential to be that, just because he's that fast and he's obviously that big. He's a big receiver. He's not obviously. I don't think he's as big as Calvin Johnson was, but I think it's there. He could be that with a much better quarterback. So I don't want him here. I am actually rooting for him to somehow end up in Buffalo. I think that would be amazing. So I'm definitely rooting for that. I don't want him in the NFC North. He's not coming to the Vikings. They don't want a receiver at this point. They're not looking for that. They already have their number one. They don't need anything. So he can stay out of the NFC North for all I care.
Go to the AFC.
My cat says hi, by the way, here.
See, the other issue, though, for the Packers, I mean, you talked about nastiness, and I hear you about that. Josh Jacobs will do that. Sean Ryan will give you a little nastiness. Tucker Kraft a little bit as well.
Yeah.
But the other thing the Packers need at receiver, they had a trouble up and down the receiving core with drops.
Oh, yeah.
And Devontae would solve that problem. He doesn't drop too many passes. And, Dontavian Wicks, Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson, all those guys had trouble with dropping passes. And if you can get a guy who on 3rd and 6, you're going to throw him the ball and he'll get you 7, that solves a big problem for Jordan Love and the Packers. Packers were either 1st or 2nd in the league in drops or drop percentage.
Yeah.
So I wonder if and I don't know as far as roster wise how it fits, but I feel like a Packer thing to do on this list would be to get an Amari Cooper, Godwin, or some player like that, because Godwin, he was pretty productive, so just that big splash move. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, a lot of these things are going to shake out and see how you approach the draft as well. So, Gil, when you look at the Packers draft strategies, what are your thoughts on obviously the moves that they're going to make, who players are going to focus on in the first and later rounds?
Yeah, there's a couple of guys I'm looking at right now in the first round, and we'll see. I like Shamar Stewart if he's still available from Texas A&M along the defensive line. I think he could solve some of the Packers' problems over there. Trey Amos maybe out of Ole Miss. And if you're going receiver, I kind of am looking at Emeka Egbuka. Ohio State every year. They've got ready to go receivers And I think, even though I'm a Michigan alum, I would welcome him in Green Bay.
And Trevor, you've been, I'm not sure how much time you've had to study the draft yet, but you've been spot on. Obviously, you wanted Edgerrin Cooper last year, and he has been, a great pickup, and I think he's going to be a superstar for the Packers for years to come. So what about you? Like, what are you kind of hoping for the Packers?
Well, it looks like we're going to get a wide receiver in free agency or in trade, but that would be someone that'd be on my radar. Cornerback, of course, is going to be high on the list as well. And then I think we need an edge rusher. And just watching the combine, there's going to be a lot of edge rushers available first day, second day. And I think if the Packers can get their hands on a couple of those guys or one of those guys, we need some more help getting to that quarterback. So I'm pretty pumped about those three. That's kind of where I'm looking at for this team, is that they need help in those ranges. And so, yeah, I mean, now granted, we don't draft well, or hasn't drafted well lately in the first round. So that DK Metcalf trade, even though we're giving up a lot, and I think it is giving up a lot, if we can land a guy that actually fits the scheme, that's really great. It just seems like we draft better in the second and third round lately. I don't know, hindsight 2020 in every draft, right? But Van Ness doesn't seem to be panning out. People wanted JSN during that time. It's amazing how accurate Packers fans have been for who they wanted and who they didn't get. And then I'm hoping that Josh Morgan pans out as a really great lineman for the Packers for a decade here. But that doesn't look solid either at this stage. And we're hoping, I mean, it's too early to tell, right? So these are some of the things that I'm looking for. So edge rusher, cornerback, and depending on what we do, free agency, wide receiver as well.
Well, shout out to, obviously you're going to have to, upgrade, to really match. Shout out to Prompt Phenomenon here. The rest of the division shaking their in their high heels. They know the Bears are going to take the North. So I got another guy on my side here. Lots to hey.
That is just the funniest line. I'm sorry.
It's just me.
It's Ryan Poles, and we're taking the North, and we're never giving it back. And then you guys go from 7 wins to 5, and it's like you just gotta stop quoting them, guys, because that is awful. That is like the worst.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Gotta get worse until you get better. Hey,
there's nowhere from up from here, everyone.
Hey, we're coming. We're coming. So. Seventh letter, Mr. Giants. The Giants goofballs are wondering about your hat. You did come back with the same one, so appreciate you still repping your Lions. When you look at the Lions, though, I'm wondering, seventh letter. I mean, are they kind of like going to be under the radar this year? I mean, obviously
that suits us.
What's that?
That suits us better. I don't like
radar. Okay.
I don't like being on top. I don't like it. I don't like it because they don't respect you at the top when you get there. You know what I mean? You go 15-2, beat the shit out the whole division. Nobody beat you. The people you beat 2 and 3 times every year, they'll get coach of the year. So put me under there. Maybe if I go 12-5 or something, then give me coach of the year and I go to the Super Bowl or something. I don't know, but whatever, yo. I think we built a good team. We just have to plug in some places, and we'll be fine. You know what I mean? I would rather just be under the radar while everybody looking at Ben Johnson kissing his sorry ass. You know what I'm saying?
Wouldn't hurt to stay healthy this year either.
That too. Yeah, but also maybe like I think last year when I look back at the draft in retrospect, I think there were some places where I think we reached a couple times and we didn't have to. I think we should get back to, because now we got to start signing people. We're gonna start losing people. You know what I mean? People got contracts coming up. I want to keep Brian Branch. I want to keep Kobe Joseph. Kirby Joseph. Aiden Hutchinson staying. You know what I mean? But
he's not leaving. He's not leaving.
Now we got to start from scratch again. Now we got to draft D-line depth again. Now, I personally want a speed corner. I need a real X receiver. I'm tired of changing them every year. I need a young X, 6'4", 6'3" receiver, big. And, there's a couple of things that I need. And we got to go. Everybody else got better. The Bears got better. The Packers got better. Gonna get better. They always do. The freaking Vikings got better. So,
shout out to Trev here, giving DK Metcalf stats in the private chat here. DK Metcalf 6'4", 235. I mean,
my size. He's my size. He's big as hell. Running 4.3 is crazy.
I don't know if that's the Lions thing though to kind of sign. Big
I don't
name
want
agents
him.
like
No,
that.
I
You
don't
want
want
him.
him.
Oh,
No.
you just don't want him on.
I don't have. You know what? If I had Matt Stafford, yeah, I want him. You know what I'm saying? If I had Matt Stafford, somebody that can reach him, yeah, you know what I mean. Jared Goff is a good quarterback, but he's not that. You know what I mean? If I had Matthew Stafford, somebody that can really utilize his tools to, so he can flourish and we can go deep on people like we used to with Calvin. Like, yeah, somebody like that, but not with Jared Goff. No. He can't even reach Jameson Williams.
You said Jared Goff can't?
Not all of the best deep ball he ever threw to Jameson Williams was against y'all this year. That's the best deep throw he ever thrown to him. Now,
so wait, seventh letter.
Is that the 5 interception game?
No, the one when we blew the Bears out the last game. Not that.
Are you saying that Jared Goff's the worst quarterback in the NFC North? Seventh letter?
No, he's the best quarterback in the NFC North.
I thought you said he can't hit the.
He don't got a strong arm. He does have a strong arm. What does that mean?
Don't you have to be a good quarterback to have a strong?
Joe Montana didn't have the strongest arm. He didn't have a better arm than Dan Marino, but he was the best. You know what I mean? Like, it don't matter because his arm's strong. I'm saying someone like DK Metcalf, an exceptional, explosive athlete like that, I would prefer to have a guy with a rocket. You know what I mean? Even like a Sam Darnold arm. Somebody, remember the 80-yard touchdown to Jordan to Jefferson? You know what I'm saying? Like
97, thank you. 97 yards.
Yeah, but 97. Like he threw the ball like 60 yards, 40 yards, like Jared Goff can, but it's not what he does. You know what I mean? It's not what he does.
It's not his thing.
Yes, it's not what he does. He'll carve you up. If you block for him, he'll carve you up.
So you said you had some thoughts, I think, on Ben Johnson, and we didn't get a chance to get those last week. So have you kind of mourned fully the losses and saying bye-bye to Ben?
You already know how I feel about Ben Johnson. I've been telling you for 3 years now. He's too cute. Go ahead with that cute shit. And what happened with the cute? That's how we lost to the Commanders. Him being cute over and over again. To the dumbest player we got, you're going to choose him to do a reverse, to have Jameson Williams throw the ball down 10, fourth quarter in a playoff game. It's ridiculous. Aaron Glenn, bye. You keep blitzing. This guy's carving us apart. All our cornerbacks are hurt, except for the rookie, and you keep blitzing for no reason. No reason. So bye. I'm glad they're gone. Bye.
So when you think about the Lions losing coach, are you worried about the Lions regressing because of their coaches in 2025?
It's a possibility. I mean, you don't know what the replacements are going to do. And the thing in the NFL now, with all the turnover in player personnel and coaches, and when you win, your coaches get poached. Every year is a little different, and you don't know until you see it what kind of a difference these coaches can make. I hear your criticism about the guys who are on the way out. It's legit, but we don't know what the guys who are coming in are going to do.
I know him. And the guy that's our offensive coordinator, he was on my team.
Yeah.
Before he was on, and the guy that's defensive coordinator, he's been on my team the whole time too. So I know what we're gonna get. They're both upstanding men. They both fit what we do. As long as we just keep that offensive line strong, we play and we run the freaking ball and throw the ball 25 to maybe 30 times, we should win the NFC North again. I just want us to play right. I want us to play the perfect game that we played this year was against the Packers the first time. Mm-hmm. It's raining. Let's not throw the ball. Let's run the ball down their throat. Let's not be cute. Let's give Jahmyr Gibbs the ball 25 times when he's averaging 9 yards a carry as opposed to doing trick plays. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want. That's what I want. Play the game right. If we play like that, we should be fine. Everyone else gets better. We done beat good teams for the last 3 years. We'll beat good teams again. Hopefully the North, it won't be 6-0 this year. I don't even imagine that. I don't even imagine that. It won't be 6-0 because everyone else is going to get better. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a tougher road to the Super Bowl this year. But whatever.
I mean that kind of implies you've been there. So
no. I'm going to the Super Bowl.
All right.
I am. I'm going to the Super Bowl. Brad Holmes. You know why I like Brad Holmes? He drafts like I draft on Madden. You know what? Like I know what we need, and I'm sure he does too. You know what I'm saying? Like I know he knows what we need. We need pass rush. Watch how many pass rushes we get in the draft. Watch. You'll see.
It's going to, I mean, obviously all the needs of different NFC North teams. And I want to shift to the Vikings here, Skullman. I mean, I feel like, the Vikings, to me, maybe they were living on borrowed time with Sam Darnold. Maybe they're going to bring him back. Maybe not. Lots there. But, I mean, when you talk about the voids and just like, overall kind of team-wise, you kind of have to temper your expectations with the 2025 Vikings, don't you?
Yeah, at this point, definitely just kind of like we'll kind of see what happens. Because obviously the deadline was yesterday to tag him. They didn't. I don't know. You see, like on things online, maybe they're signing another 1-year deal or another 2-year deal. Because I think what I've been reading, at least, that there's a mutual thing of wanting to bring him back. I'm not sure what they're going to do with him. We'll see what happens. Because like obviously the quarterback market, I would say arguably he's one of the more like better quarterbacks that's on the free agent market now that Stafford's gone. So I don't know what they're going to do. Obviously, there's a lot of other holes to fix, too. You have Jones, which I haven't heard any rumblings since they pushed anything. Their corners I'm not sure, but like I've seen rumors that there's possibility that they're re-signing Murphy, which I would like. But I've seen the same source that said that they were going to sign him the same reason somebody else said that, he's saying goodbye. So who knows at this point?
I was gonna say if the Vikings go ahead and go with Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones has a Sam Darnold year, just go ahead and name the Coach of the Year trophy the big KOC trophy, right? 7th letter.
That's okay.
I mean, what he's been able to do with these like retread quarterbacks, I mean, that would be interesting. I feel like the whole Daniel Jones story, like, it was a good, he had a good, couple years or whatever. Him kind of, maybe being a reclamation project. I mean, that would be even better story than the whole Sam Darnold story.
No,
yeah,
he's a bum. He's a bum.
I said Sam Darnold was a bum too, but hey,
I saw even when Sam Darnold was on the job. I live in the New York market. I've seen Sam Darnold play. Sam Darnold always like, he got something. It's just the Jets hated him. I don't know why. Like Gase hated him. He used to flash a lot. It was just after that Patriots game when he was talking about seeing ghosts, he never was the same again. You know what I mean? with KOC and the weapons that the Vikings have, it's kind of hard to not put up big numbers there. Like, remember, Fake Favre did it. So if you know what I mean? Like he not you know who I'm talking about. What's the guy name? The quarterback that was through 500 yards?
Jordan Love?
No, the guy that played for the Minnesota Vikings in 2023. Who was the
There was a few of them. Kirk Cousins?
Same school as Brett Favre, and he thought he was Brett Favre. But he put up a lot of big numbers with them. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard. They got weapons. That's any quarterback will look good. But Daniel Jones is truly a bum. Truly. So truly a bum. All right. Sam Darnold is way better than he ever was. Okay. Way better.
Some great comments here, obviously, with is it Jefferson, Addison, or KOC? I mean, obviously, it helps to have good talent. I think
it's a combination. Like obviously Jefferson, Addison, obviously that's really great. But you go back to like last year, like with Josh Dobbs. I mean, he comes off the bench, signed that week in Atlanta. And KOC is coaching him, and they like threw like the headset and everything, and they got the win. I was at that game, so it was a marvel to see. And I think like that at least shows that obviously he has a lot of ability. And obviously Jefferson was not active that game because he was injured. I don't think Addison. I don't think he had like that great of a game. So like, and not to say that they're not contributors. Obviously they are. They are extremely skilled. Jefferson goes without saying. Addison has done a lot.
Had two touchdowns that game, didn't he?
What?
He had 2 touchdowns that game. Addison.
I honestly don't remember what the stats
talking
were.
About the Atlanta game? Was it the Atlanta game?
Yeah, the Falcons game.
Yeah, Addison had like 2 touchdowns. He played good that game. I remember that.
Yeah,
game.
no, I'm not saying I just couldn't remember. I couldn't remember stats offhand.
In the game, he looked bad that game. It's just, you know what it was? They didn't have no tape on Josh Dobbs.
Yeah.
100%. And I think
that's how it worked out. And Atlanta's defense last year was 2 years ago now, was really bad. Yeah, so like it somehow worked out. But I think like I still think the greatest story about it is that like Dobbs legit was signed that week and somehow was able to figure out the cadences and figure out to play at least somewhat like competent that game and was able to pull out a victory because that was not obviously the game plan going in. So that's what I'm saying is like I think like that shows, if anything, the coaching aspect of KOC.
They got
not to take away from Jefferson at all.
Got that tape on him, and they got that tape on him, and they benched him 3 weeks later.
I mean, yeah. But,
well, let's go with that same theme. Let's keep the tape and the receipts on Norcephus here saying Vikings will have a 14-win schedule. But let's throw this up here. Sorry, Norcephus, I don't see 14 wins. I don't even see 4 wins here. The Vikings in 2025. It's. I was all in on maybe 2 wins. But when you look at JJ, essentially a rookie quarterback. I mean, Gil, it's going to be tough for the NFC North all around, but I think the Vikings are going to have a tough go at it here, right?
Never easy when you have a first-year quarterback. More often than not, they're going to have their struggles. And this schedule is not an easy schedule. And look, we have the deepest division in the league right now. So just getting those 6 wins is not going to be easy. I think the fact that we have the deepest division in the league is maybe the one thing we could all agree on. But
so until the playoffs, but yes.
So Trevor, you went in on me last year saying it was going to be a 2-win Viking. Are you ready to?
I said 4.
Okay, you said 4. Are you?
I was wrong, Andy. I was wrong. Okay,
are you going to come back over?
But I was wrong, and I admitted it many times.
You did, but are you going to come back with me and say it's going to be maybe a 3-4 win Vikings season?
No, I'm sticking. My eye test has said the Vikings are still going to be solid. I just don't know how many at this stage they're going to win, but I have a feeling it's going to be 8+ wins this year. So we'll see.
Eagles, Commanders, Ravens, Bengals. Whew. Even the Falcons are going to be tough this year. I mean,
yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
You're
but
right.
they got the same rookie concern though. That's the thing. I mean, yeah, he had like what 4
Mhm.
games at the end of the year, but Penix is
Mhm.
not like he's not like a veteran. He has 4 games on McCarthy, but nothing against him. I like him a lot. It's more of just like, I mean, who knows? And the Falcons, everyone was like, oh, we're gonna be great with now Kirk Cousins, and obviously, now that I'm mentioning Penix, obviously that worked out so well. So
Oh, I didn't say that. I knew.
no, I'm saying that.
was a bomb. Yeah.
I still say I'm going to stick with this, and I'm not ready to say my team yet, but I think Kirk Cousins gets the comeback play of the year in 2025.
Oh,
With whom?
Bless your
With
heart.
who?
All
No,
right, maybe I'll
Atlanta.
throw maybe with Cleveland.
Oh,
Maybe. I need to look at it, but I think he's going to be there. But one coach that I'm wondering if it's going to be there, if there's going to be a change, and I'm gonna. I actually, if you've watched long enough, you know I have a man crush on this coach. I wonder, and Prompt Phenomena has this great question here: is there any chance the Packers move on from MLF if they miss the playoffs and go 0-2 against the Ben Johnson-led Bears? Trev, I mean,
what are we living in La La Land? I mean, it's off season here, but what are we talking about here? Are you going to let Mike Tomlin go if he misses the playoffs?
so they want him.
Are you going to get
Steelers
Shanahan? Like all these crazy people. You know how hard it is to find a great coach? You just don't let him walk.
yeah,
It's
they fire him. He'll be hired quicker than Andy Reid.
In less than 24 hours, he'll be on another team. Like, so
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to call for it and if fans go crazy, sure. But
They gotta
there's
have like
no
maybe
chance
like
that I
2
think that
wins at
Matt
most.
LaFleur is going to be a coach of another team in the next 3 years. That's my bold take.
Okay, Gil, are you ready to say that as well?
Yeah, no, he's not going anywhere. I mean, they would have to go like 4-13 without, with Love fully healthy and the whole team just implodes. And I don't see that happening. So for everything he's accomplished over the years, I mean, they made the playoffs in the last 2 seasons with the youngest roster in the NFL. And, that's an accomplishment in and of itself. And he also was able to win with Aaron Rodgers, who is not an easy guy to get along with. So to be able to do both of those things shows you that he's got a lot of skill.
So do
And
the
he was
Packers?
on
Oh,
heroin.
go ahead. Seventh letter.
And he was on heroin. So,
LaFleur or Rodgers?
Gosh, it's not endorsed by this podcast.
We'll just say Rodgers for now.
So, I mean, do the Packers have to get to the playoffs, though? I mean, with all the momentum, and I get it. Packers fans keep saying youngest team in the division, youngest, blah, blah, blah. I mean, with the momentum they had in 2023, maybe kind of falling a little bit flat in 2024. In 2025, I mean, do they have to make the playoffs?
I think Jordan Love was hurt, man. Like, something wasn't right. I think he was hurt. And plus, like, honestly, and then if you look at the playoff games against the Eagles, like, the whole receiving core was hurt. Like, everybody. I think Watson got hurt week 18 against y'all, but he shouldn't have played against y'all. But
Watson's
he
terrible.
got hurt. Yeah,
He was also playing injured at that point, basically.
right. Then they lost Dobbs on some freak concussion. And then Jalen got hurt. Jaden, whatever, I forget his name.
Reed.
Jaden
Reed,
Reed got hurt. Like, nobody was out there. Then the Eagles, if they don't got nothing, they got good corners. Like, what are you going to do? It's like, and then they played the Eagles the toughest out of everybody in the playoffs.
And they also lost Elton Jenkins, their best guard, against a really good front seven of the Eagles. So, yeah.
I mean, I've heard from for years that obviously coaching matters and next man up, all this stuff that when I would say Bears injuries, this and that, they still need to win. And obviously you look at Miles has a great comment here. He thinks that NFC North is not ready for the Packers to have the best defense in the league. I wonder if if they have if they're carried more by their defense this year. defense and running. I mean, obviously you get Josh Jacobs the ball, and they presumably don't get a top level wide receiver. I don't know.
I think that's what they was missing. I think they need one. I think they realize that. Like they're gonna do something. They need another receiver. Too many drops, just not enough explosiveness. And when Christian Watson is out there, they're a different team, and he just cannot stay healthy. You know what I mean? Like Jaden Reed is the best receiver for the most part. Then he kind of, for some reason, in the middle of the season, kind of dropped off and disappeared. Like, I don't know what happened with them this year. It was surprising. Like I said, I think I was a little – after that Thanksgiving game, I was terrified of the Packers. But last year, not so much, because whenever they played somebody, they just – I don't know. Jordan Love was probably hurt and just hiding it or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. If you're either hurt or you're hurting your team. So if you're hurt, don't play. I don't know. I get it. You kind of you want to you saw talent, and then he had some issues. Still a lot thrown off the back foot. I think they may have to address that. But this is something I'm not hearing. I have heard a few different crazy, wild rumors, Miles, about Aaron Rodgers. But Packers Twitter, evidently, I don't know if you're seeing this, Gil, but trying to suggest Rodgers could return to Green Bay. That's just ridiculous.
Oh, yeah,
right?
do it. Do it.
Happening.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
I even saw a picture of him in a Bears uniform backing up Caleb Williams. No thanks.
Oh, do it. Do it.
You mean assistant general manager Aaron Rodgers, that guy?
Man.
Yeah, or future Minnesota Viking Aaron Rodgers, and I'm going to keep beating that horse right there.
Here's the thing, though, Andy. I appreciate, like you said, everyone's saying coaching matters and then next man up. Let me address both of those points for a second. So, yes, coaching matters. That's why there was 3 of our teams that made the playoffs and 1 that didn't. Because your coach sucked.
That's
right. It's just a fact. Now you got a good coach.
No. You went a little bit too far.
All 4 teams have a good coach now, right? All 4 teams.
Yeah, I'd say. Yeah.
Okay. So coaching matters. The next man up thing, it works if you have players that are good behind the starters. The Bears don't have a next man up because they didn't have good players to start. Right. So with the Packers, in all seriousness, when Hutchinson went down with an injury, I'm like, there's no such thing as a next man up when Aiden Hutchinson goes down. I don't care what you got. Now you can scheme differently, but you don't replace a guy like that. There's some teams that have a next man up because they're deep and they have to, like, we have to talk like that. But do you actually have the key pieces backing up that spot? And there's certain spots on every team they do not have that. When Elton Jenkins went down, we did not have another guy that you could just say, well, he's going to fill the gap. He's going to plug and play. He's going to be the next man up. Heck no, he got exposed. and then we're like, guess what? We need to draft next year. And you know what I mean? So I know that we don't want to use injuries as excuses. I think that they're legitimate reasons. But yeah, it was disappointing that Watson didn't, like, that. He was a key piece to this offense. And with him, I'm sorry, but you needed that young core. Having a guy like him on there, it just wasn't the same. And so I think every team can talk like that. I don't know. I was shocked on how good the Lions were without Aiden Hutchinson, but you get to the end of the year and Aiden Hutchinson is still the highest sack leader on his team at the end of the season.
And that's why they were blitzing as much as they were late in the season. Well, one of the reasons anyway. I mean, they had to. They couldn't get home to the quarterback otherwise.
At all.
Right.
Well, speaking of the defense on the Packers side, obviously, you still have the Jair Alexander. If they're going to trade him, what's going to happen? Maybe they'll get something for him. I think, obviously, you have to dispel any rumors. They're not getting top level, defender or a first or second.
He's been injured the past year.
Right. I mean, maybe at best they get a 3rd or 4th round pick for him. Is that kind of what you're thinking, Gil?
Yeah, that is kind of what I'm thinking the market will bear. Anyone who's going to pick him up is taking a chance, because in 3 of the last 4 seasons, he's played 7 games or less. When he's on the field, he can be a shutdown guy. But, you know, what's the cliche? The most important ability in the NFL is availability. If you're not out there, you're not helping the team. So I have always been a big Jair Alexander fan as far as his ability is concerned, but I think it might benefit both the player and the team if they part ways at this point.
Whoa. But Miles is saying the opposite here.
Well, I'd love to see that, Miles. I would love to see that.
I don't know if that, just attitude wise, it didn't
Maybe
seem
as a
like he
safety
was
over the top.
What's that? He needs a safety over the top.
Yeah, he needs a safety over the top to be like cover like high end good receivers, in my opinion. But that's just
We got one.
me.
Xavier
Got 2
McKinney
now.
would qualify, I think.
Yeah, but I'm just saying like that's what he needs to be an All Pro. That's what I'm saying. So
Ooh.
if he goes to a team that does not have that, I don't know if he's going to be able to do it.
Damn.
Well, and if he gets traded, obviously we talked a little bit about this last week, but I mean, Stokes, you're not going to probably sign him, right? Valentine's may be gone, and so you've already got Keyshawn Nixon and Carrington Valentine. I mean, you're going to have to reshape that secondary. And when you look at teams in the NFC North, we're passing. The Bears are passing. Caleb is going to he's going to break that 4K passing yards next year for the Bears, and Jared Goff's going to do Jared Goff things. Up and down, but you're going to need a secondary.
He had his best season in his life last year. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. Okay, had almost 5,000 yards, 30-something touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? Like
He had the most interceptions in a game too, I think. So career high
and
right
won
there, right?
that game, and won that game,
Just
and won that
wild.
game. He won that game. He won that game.
And how many times has that ever happened in NFL
Yeah,
history where you throw 5 picks and you win? I mean,
Exactly. He won that game, by the way. He didn't stop throwing. There's a couple of, if you look at the game, I can give you good excuses of why he threw 5 interceptions that game. All right. Jamison Williams.
I mean, there's only 2 teams in this podcast that have were the top 5 passing yards in the league. So yeah.
It wasn't you.
No, it was. Darnold was top 5. He was number 5.
It
Thank you
wasn't
very
you,
much.
Andy. It wasn't you. Okay.
We're coming. But I mean, with the secondary, Trev, I mean, what are you thinking secondary wise? I mean, if not Jair, then who?
Well, yeah, I think Gil's right. We're probably moving on. But what if we don't and he stays healthy? Miles might be like, right. The problem is he can't stay healthy. And I just love his interviews. I can't get enough of Jair. I want that guy on the field that like jaws at people and makes their week awful. You know what I mean? But I do think that's why we're going to go to the draft and we're going to try to pick up a solid cornerback or 2. I just think that's what they're going to be looking for. I just think if you're going to give up Jair and get a 4th round pick, it's like, really, is that, I guess it's if you save the salary, right? Is that the logic there? I'm like, I think other than that, I don't understand why we'd have to do that.
Well, I don't know. The problem is not just the salary, because the Packers are okay under the cap and they could easily free up more cap space by just restructuring a few guys. The problem is an unhappy Jair Alexander can be a big problem in the locker room. And you don't want him. I mean, he was suspended not last year, but in 2023, 1 game for conduct detrimental to the team when he elected himself captain and took the coin toss when he wasn't supposed to and almost blew the coin toss too. The referee kind of bailed him out.
Yeah.
So if he's unhappy, that could have a negative ripple effect in that locker room. And I think you just don't want to bring that, because you're right. His interviews are great. His personality is great, but that's when he's happy. If he's unhappy, you may have a problem there.
Yeah.
Well, tell you what, I mean, obviously there's a lot kind of to shake out for the season. as we're preparing for the NFL draft, I'm actually heading to the draft. I actually live in Wisconsin, so I'll be there. Gil, are you heading to the draft at all?
Not able to make it in person, but really looking forward to it.
When you look at it, obviously, and it's going to be a showcase for Green Bay. I'd like to poke Packer fans in the area. Like logistically, it's going to be a crazy, interesting. I don't want to. I am going to say nightmare, but it's going to be an experiment to see how the draft and that many people fit in Green Bay. It's not going to quite be in Lambeau. It's going to be right on the side of Lambeau. I mean, what is the temperature for Packer Nation for the draft to be in Green Bay, Gil?
I think they're very excited. I mean, you have the smallest major league sports market in America hosting the NFL draft, a team that dates back in the NFL to 1921. The tradition. I mean, I think this is a special event. And for Mark Murphy, the outgoing team president, this is sort of his swan song. He worked really hard to make this happen. This is like his last big event. So I think this is going to be a special thing. And, I'm from New York. I remember when the draft was in New York every year, and I used to go every year. It's kind of fun having it in a different city every year. It adds a little spice to everything.
It really does. And I've been to the last couple. I went to Kansas City and Detroit, and it does kind of add a lot of excitement for fans and everything. Logistically, it changes. So you have to kind of see how things are set up, but it really does bring a whole new atmosphere, I think, to the draft and more people that wouldn't go to New York that go to that draft experience.
New York is horrible.
New York is horrible.
So many people.
Well, Gil, what was your favorite part about going to the draft? Like, we've heard Andy's experience, but what were some things that you just enjoyed?
Just, being around fans from all the different teams and just seeing the fans go at each other, mostly in a friendly, kind of a way, but it got spirited and I enjoyed that. So, it's just like a game. Maybe you can get more analysis watching it on TV, but there's nothing like being there.
Norcephus, Milwaukee. I'm going to stay all the way in Milwaukee. And that's not a lot.
Gosh, Appleton,
It's maybe even in Detroit.
You know what? If I end up going, I'm phoning Matt Ramage and I'm going to say, Matt, Can I have a bed at your house? Like, that's what I'm going to do because I can't afford to sleep on the streets to go to the draft. I'm just saying.
Funny thing. I mean, you guys know I've got a friends that live a few blocks from Lambeau, and I'm staying there. And all kidding aside, I think the whole game day experience is really nothing like Green Bay because it really is kind of like a high school football atmosphere. You walk to the stadium and all those like houses are there and everything like that. So I give it up for that. So, but it really is going to be crazy with it already is with how expensive things are. Here we go. Yeah, this might actually be true. They're ice fishing huts in April. There may actually be snow in April.
That would be awesome.
I don't think the lakes are going to be that type frozen.
No. Ice huts on the side of the road, though. I can absolutely see that. But I've seen snow in my area here in April. So
it's like an igloo. It's an ice hut, like an igloo, like something like that. Like
just kind of We'll go with that. Yeah, kind of an igloo. Yeah.
That's wild, yo. I want to see an igloo, yo, like really bad. Like I want to see one, man. For real.
Well, this has been fun. I definitely appreciate some great comments. Obviously, great participation this week. And, obviously, I'm glad to have you on first time, Gil. Where can everyone find you as we close out tonight?
On Twitter at Gil Packers, Cheesehead TV, thepackerspost.com, and Packers Talk Radio, and also the Daily Packers Post on YouTube.
Definitely like and subscribe. Appreciate you being here, and always appreciate you coming on and trying to push you a little bit, Dre. Those Vikings fans are hard to really get going, but love all your content. And where can we find you as we close out?
it's the Minnesota Nice. It's kind of hard to like really kind of get us pushing that hard. But yeah, you can hit me up on Skullman Sports on X, Blue Sky, or Facebook.
Definitely follow, like, and subscribe, all that as well. And someone who always has great content, and whether it's this or your hockey channel, where can we find you, Trev, as we close out?
Yeah, just find me at RevTrevNFL. Love that. If you want to follow me on hockey, it's Kempner Canucks. But love talking football and NHL. It's two passions of mine for sure.
Absolutely. And obviously, you can follow me on NFL Outdated on Twitter, X, on YouTube, NFL Outdated, on the Freezin 4 pod on the TikTok. And obviously, I'm gunning for you, Seven's letter. I'm coming. All right.
That's why I go last. Cherry on top, King of the North, 7th letter 4. Twitter, X, same OG on Instagram and Facebook. Had a good time with you guys tonight. Everybody be safe. Fly high, AC. Have a good night.
Thanks again, everybody. Once again, this has been the Freezin NFC North Podcast, and we will catch you again next week. Have a great night, everybody, and bear down.
What?
Skull.